Hey, we're back. So this is Chris Zegar, Director of Innovative Instruction.
Teresa Riemann, Director of Technology.
Right, and we're going to talk a little bit about enduring understandings for our second part of the mission. Kind of give some hints and some specific things you can do when you start to kind of design your own enduring understandings when it comes to the activities. So a couple of things to remember when you're writing those enduring understandings is that, one, they should not be questions. They should be statements of timeless knowledge, right? There should be few in number. So going over the course of the year, when you're looking at writing like 3 to 5, no more than that. Once you start doing more than that, you're starting to get into specific units. They should be timeless knowledge, which means that they should be larger things that students can leave with. So think of your course as building a foundation for larger questions in life that student is going to have to kind of deal with and overcome. They should be connected to standards, right? All things that we're doing within building the curriculum should be informed by standards. They are the kind of foundation of how our district teaches the specific content and the skills as what is expected by the nation and the state. The different types of enduring understandings and statements that are made should be transferable. So that type of statement you give should not just be completely locked into your content area or your grade area. They should be larger, meaningful questions for a student as they leave your course to the next course or across courses. So they should be cross-disciplinary. All right. So finally here, they can encompass concepts, themes, theories, and different types of perspectives. They are holistic in their nature, which means that they really aren't supposed to be put into any kind of specific box. They're supposed to be broad.
So one of the things you can do after you write an enduring understanding statement is you can test it by asking yourself questions. And if the statement applies to one or more of these questions, then you can ensure that what you have created is an enduring understanding. So two questions here are, can you apply the enduring understanding in more than one discipline? And some of the examples that we showed you before, you could, the ELA one, for example, could definitely be applied to more than one curriculum area. Another one is, can you look at other grade levels and find similar or recurring enduring understandings around which to organize learning?
Okay, so a couple of questions you want to ask yourself when developing enduring understanding is that it is not something that is specifically anchored to a time period. And I can't stress enough the idea of timeless knowledge. So will an enduring understanding stand the test of time? The concept, so to give an example, like the concept of war, right? How conflict changes societies is something that is true no matter what context it's in. It may change depending on the context of how that type of conflict may change a society, but it's timeless, right? It can be applied anywhere, and it helps a kid with their thinking as they leave the school. Will students remember this enduring understanding long after they leave your classroom? That is enormously important. So every enduring understanding has to pass the so what test, right? Think of that kid who comes into your class and is like, why are we learning this? Right? The enduring understanding should help them frame meaning as to why they're sitting there, why it's important, and where it will be used as they move on. Right? These are the things that give meaning to the specific curriculum.
So one other question is, will students be able to apply the enduring understanding to their lives? So again, as Chris was saying, some of those concepts that we want them to be able to understand, not only within the course, but outside of the course. And how could things that they're learning impact and decisions that they're making?
Okay, so here's some examples. So in physical education, one being here, self-initiated behaviors that promote personal and group success include safety practices, adherence to rules, etiquette, cooperation, teamwork, ethical behavior, and positive social interactions. Now, why does this work? If you think about it, it can transcend all 12 years that a student is in school. 2, a kid can reflect on all of these things and be able to navigate not just physical education classes in the future. This is great advice for people in team meetings. This is great advice for interacting with your family at Thanksgiving. These are all really important things that kind of ground you as you leave that classroom, and therefore it's enduring. So another one here is in accounting. Students will understand the importance of comparing. I'm going to go to here. Comparing benchmarks. I have it over here on this side. Yeah. Comparing benchmarks and performing trend analysis. All right. So what we're looking here is like when we talk about thinking, the idea of being able to understand things in moments and things over time. This can go across how an individual looks at how they gather data and information, and the way of thinking, even though it's specifically in here with accounting, can be used across disciplines, because the idea of understanding distinctions between the idea of progress and growth and specific points of proficiency matter in all areas.
And outside of life, when they're older and need to do investments and good things like that. Okay, so here's one example that we had for math, which was all quantities can be represented by our number system. Obviously, this is very broad and probably will impact a student throughout their entire math courses through K through 12. And then in social studies, we have the consequences of conflict and change that are both predictable and unforeseen. So that's, again, a very broad statement, but this one can also, just in society itself and having students be more alert of what's going on in the world with conflict and change outside of what they're learning in school, this is a statement that would then impact that area.
Right. So we're done. And this is now your time to do the activity. So good luck with everything.
Good luck.